Hey Leo. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended video link, which is a Patreon link that will come out 24 to 48 hours after this first initial reading. This is for Aquarius season, this February 2024. I'm doing some adjustments here, so just bear with me for the moment, but we have your full moon. We have Pluto, and we'll talk about that a little bit here and then more into the extended. Cards are flipping out. All right, 6 of Cups, 3 of Wands out first. There's plenty of more to go. We'll start with these. Sorry, there's a glare. It's bright. Okay, 6 of Cups. There is more to give, more to offer. It's also just about acknowledging and putting time and energy into plans that you want to make. It's interesting because this Pluto shift and the shift into Aquarius season, it's all happening at once. You're like, which one is it? But it feels like we know there's a lot going on, and I'm kind of saying this to everyone, but in a time where there's a lot going on, art is what we're creating, life is what we're creating. And so that's kind of what this month may be poured into your mind more. You may spend more time emotionally and thoughtfully thinking about your future, thinking about what you have in front of you, giving yourself mental freedom. And then also this adds on to it to receive it. So you don't have to do anything, right? There's just allowing yourself to be receptive and allowing your body, your mind, and your spirit to relax in any way that looks for you. It's just taking care of yourself. There's also an ease entering the season, entering this time in your life. We've talked a lot, and you've done a lot of work, Leo, especially around the places in your life that were hurting you. And being honest with yourself and having courage and moving beyond whatever's kept you close to whatever wasn't actually helping you, what was harming you, I should say. And now, oh, well, here we go. Without even really paying attention, this is exactly what I just said. You, I think, can physically see, feel, and notice now, and maybe even your day-to-day interactions, your interactions with people who you have gained a relationship with, have a rapport with, who you have those small conversations with, whether it's at work and then the relationships you have with friendships. You're noticing something even in those dynamics that is shifting. And the shift feels good for your mind, especially. These cards are showing that you can lean one way or the other, and you have a choice this month. It's become more conscious, for sure, but the choice is you can indulge your mind with what and where you have been unable to expand, grow, and see progress in. But what Aquarius also wants you to recognize and is also pointing out for you is to look at the places that you have, to notice what you're really good at and be okay with that. That's something about anyone with Aquarian nature that some people may find cocky or arrogant, because there are those Aquarians that seem like that people will perceive as they're above. Everyone has that sign though. Every sign has that. capability. Why is it that you can get pegged? Well, because it's that same way that you disassociate. I see it as like what can be a very healthy thing for most people in a healthy relationship with your ego, is that you know you're good at something. Or notice any Aquarius placements in your chart. For those of you that aren't actually Aquarius suns or risings, notice any Aquarius placement in your chart and see if you can realize and notice the stubbornness or the sureness you have around maybe those areas, or where you've gone through moments of sureness, or where you notice that you just know so clearly the general understanding, right? You just have this unmovable sense of understanding. And that could be to your benefit or your detriment. Indulging yourself with these people who want to celebrate you and be around you and lift you up and enjoy you, enhancing each other's experience. Those are the people you want to be around this month. Though that is what is always going to help you come up and out, because it's not about you even being you don't have to be the center of attention. It doesn't have to be about you, right? It's just being around those kinds of people remind you of something. And it's interesting because here we have the Empress, and we have this knowing that everything's going to grow, and that even whatever doesn't grow in another area, I'm sure there'll be more than enough, because there's this understanding of balance in nature. There's this fertilization that's happening. So also for some of you, if you're celebrating a creative endeavor, because I do think like now like creatives, it's more just spoken about, just like to celebrate that, because it's just as important as a birth, right? For some people, like your business or your creation becomes like a child. And for those of you who are also with child, congratulations. And it looks like you'll be having much to celebrate, and that will be the medicine for wherever it else is. And it's not that you're using other people, that's not it. It's just allowing yourself to be in support, and to realize that that's also fruit, right? That's what's growing all around you. That's what you're creating. That's what you're experiencing. Even if that changes and develops throughout the next 20 years, which is the Pluto transit, you have memories and you have experiences to remind yourself of. It's this entering into, we'll let these cards fall. We'll let them fall. Sometimes it's just too much. My nose has been itchy, but it's just because probably my hair is touching it. So forgive me if I'm touching my nose. I don't really love touching my face. But I'm going to try not to. And then we also have this theme of threes, and that's change and transformation. And it's funny because when you look at the cards next, you'll see that in between the Three of Wands is the Six of Cups. So it has the V and the 1, and then it's the 4. So it's like they're bookending this. So the central focus here is putting all the loving energy into what's next, 6, yet also resting in and allowing your nervous system to shift with you. So anything that helps you and allows you to surrender into the decisions, into the change, right? And then we have the 4 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, because what's going to be important to you now, the reasons why you're moving on, the reason, whatever it is that Pluto's like washing away, taking out of your life, it shows you what your values are. And that's something that you will want to be reminded of during this time when you are now shifting on your own to an extent, right? You're not seeking out maybe validation in this particular area, this creation. Let's use that as an example, or just taking a next step. You are trusting your own instincts in a way that builds adds to that value. It may not be physical at this time, but it will definitely get there. You also want to make sure that this month you remember where confidence comes from. Confidently entering this next, whatever this next phase is for you, is closing out or even just revealing for you to acknowledge, right? Which allows things to shift and change in a very compassionate, easeful way, I feel. What I've noticed, if, of course, you give yourself the patience to get there, if you can. There are a few things that maybe whenever you try to shift or move on from, you notice that you don't give yourself permission, or you avoid it, or you try to just be with it. I think to be with this and whatever shows up after this full confident swing of moving forward and that rush of the change, what this change perhaps reveals is that this comes from so we have the 3 of Cups. So it's like, if you take, so we have the 3 to the 5. If you take those 3 of Cups and of course you overindulge, or you overindulge in a certain emotion, that you just had enough, right? You want to feel something different. You want to have a different experience. You've had enough time in this particular one with yourself. This could be just a very small, minute thing within yourself that you're experiencing because of all of these amazing changes. And it's crazy because they say, like, you know, it's just the duality of the heightened experience that you'll feel also something on the low end. It's grieving a part of yourself that you maybe have really enjoyed, but you know hasn't been working for a while, this certain mindset or thought process, because it's actually held you, for lack of a better word, captive to having only experiences on that particular frequency. What do I mean? Well, if you want to make more money, sometimes you have to maybe give up certain time in the beginning, or if you want to have your own business or have your own creative idea, because maybe you don't have to do that for the other thing. That could just be my own perception or my limited belief. And we've seen it happen time again, but you know, where are the stories that it doesn't? So let's go with like something creative. You need to put time and energy into it in terms of it almost being free, because you're adding value to that in your life. And then when you bring it together and release it, you're releasing a part of you. It seems very dramatic, but you are. It's like giving birth. It's to something, giving birth to a creation that's really important. Giving birth, it's not obviously the same thing, but there's still things that you will go through, maybe blocks in your mind, moments of doubt. Yet there's a perception of you that is so able and capable and creative and enjoying, but we all have different sides to us, Leo. And the reason why these supports are so important is because those are the things to remember when you need the courage to move forward, because that's something that does help you. For the most part, having that support, having people who love and care about you and support you and love what you do and are around you, you know, for positive reason, it adds to that value and it adds to trust. It adds to another layer, another dimension of your life. And it's now, if you already have that, it's becoming greater. There's a another shift, there's another expansion, and you have this energy now to create a different dynamic, to maybe have a ritual even around this, because for a while, for a long time, for a moment, it's done its justice. And I say this often now because if you need to give that a moment, and that could be a few days, and for others of you a couple hours, and another person like the whole season, whatever you need, because it's your time. It's your time here. It's your time. You are smelling your own roses. You are at the head of it. And there's this overwhelming sense of receptivity that we must remind ourselves too, is that this is coming up, and I do believe everything comes up in perfect timing when you're ready. Right? We could want to experience certain things so badly, or be impatient, or then there are parts of us that want to avoid other things, but usually those things can go hand in hand. And you are maybe having that similar wave of experience right now. It's like the first 3 cards are like the pattern and the layout of the rest. And we'll get into the next part. Wherever Aquarius is in your chart, for those Leo risings, Aquarius will be your 7th house, which is your one-on-one personal relationships. Could be your partner. If your partner is in Aquarius, it's funny. It's interesting to see that because just a fun fact, my partner is the sign of my 7th house. I'm a Taurus rising, so you can guess what that is. And I think it's interesting. But no matter what, this one-on-one, relationship, this in-depth relationship with yourself is just the micro of what will happen in all of your relationships. And you will feel it, experience it, in that remember all that Venus retrograde in Leo and all the Leo stuff last year, that this is what that's been preparing you for. And that's why we've had a lot of preparation, especially spiritually, because that's something you'll look for, and you may be surprised about that, but not surprised at the same time, because it directly relates to the creative in you. So that artist, that performer, you may see that part of you come out more in the future, even if it's just for you. It's this experience, or wanting a different experience, trying something new, and maybe you can't actually like travel somewhere, but like taking a class or investing in who you are and how you want to experience the world now is what is kind of the bigger picture. Because I know we talked a little bit last month, right? It was like the themes are gonna show up as. But when we get to Aries season, that's really when we get to like the meat of this year, because that's the beginning of the astrological new year. So this feels fresh and new. But when things don't feel fresh and new, we always need inspiration. And I would say be patient with yourself, especially until Aries season. If you can take anything from this today, I hope that's maybe what you take. And we'll get right into the next part, Leo. All information is below. See you soon.